The story begins with a dead body lying amidst garbage, with a crow perched on its mouth. Just as the crow is about to peck at its eye, the body suddenly stands up. When he tries to smoke using a lighter he notices something strange. Smoke is coming out from different parts of his body, not just his nose. Scared, he grabs his shirt and looks at his body, which is badly injured, but surprisingly, he's still alive. He tries to talk and realizes his voice sounds like a zombie's, and when he looks in the mirror he sees a scary red-blue zombie-like face. This scares him a lot. After seeing this, he quickly understands that he has become a zombie and doesn't want to continue living this way. Feeling very sad and hopeless, he jumps off a cliff, thinking it will make him die, but he finds out that zombies can't die easily. He goes to a cave and stays there alone for many days, feeling even sadder. One day, he's so hungry that he passes out. When he wakes up, he realizes he's eaten a raw live rabbit, which makes him feel disgusted with himself. Confused and distressed, he struggles to understand how he became a zombie. This question troubled him deeply, and he knew he had to find out about his past. But to do that, he had to go back to the human world. Walking like a hunched zombie, he emerges from the forest into a town. There, he spots a girl's hoodie on the ground, which he puts on. Soon after, the girl arrives, searching for her lost hoodie. Spotting her, the zombie quickly turns away, avoiding interaction. He's afraid that if anyone hears his zombie-like voice, they'll get scared and try to harm him. The girl introduces herself as Sonia, a crime reporter. She tells him he can keep the hoodie but asks for her mobile phone back, which is in the pocket. The zombie hands over the mobile phone to Sonia. Thinking he might be in need, Sonia decides to offer him some money. The next day, feeling hungry again, the zombie attempts to steal eggs from a nest by hitting a stone on a tree. However, he has become so weak that he cannot carry out the task and eventually loses consciousness once more. Upon regaining consciousness, he finds himself eating a living animal again, which deeply troubles him. He realizes he doesn't want to become a wild zombie, but he also knows he needs to uncover his past. To do so, he must be open with humans, but his current zombie-like voice and walking style aren't human-like at all. He understands that in order to interact with humans, he must learn to behave more like them. So, he dedicated himself to training to become more human-like. He found an old gym in town and began practicing walking on the treadmill. It was tough at first, but with some effort he managed to learn to walk like a human. Next, he practiced speaking by holding a stick in his mouth. It helped him control his zombie nature, and soon he could speak the alphabet. With the help of a book, he learned how to hold chopsticks and mastered the etiquette of eating and drinking. Finally, after all that practice, he started behaving more like a human. He arranges clothes by taking them from the town and turns a graveyard into his home to live in. One day, the zombie witnesses a man killing another and throwing him off a cliff. Curious, the zombie went to the cliff and found the victim still breathing. The dying man handed the zombie a key before passing away. With respect, the zombie buried the deceased and inspected his belongings. Inside the man's bag, he discovered a business card revealing the man's identity as Detective Kim. Upon finding Detective Kim's office address on the card, the zombie decided to stay there for a few days. Upon arrival, it appears that nobody has lived there for many years, but there's plenty of food in the fridge. The hungry zombie eats the food, but being undead, he finds that he can't digest human food. He spends the night vomiting heavily, realizing that he can only eat raw meat. To buy it, he needs money. So he starts packing pizzas, diving into the new job to earn money for himself. While packing pizzas, a call comes on Detective Kim's phone, offering a mission to find a lost dog. At first, the zombie doesn't want to get involved, but then he considers that working as Detective Kim might help him meet more people, making it easier to uncover his past. Now he begins to prepare to venture outside. His first task is to conceal his zombie-like appearance. To achieve this, he applies makeup and dons Detective Kim's clothes. As he embarks on the mission to find the dog, he discovers that its owner is a young boy who offers him only a penny in return for his efforts. Frustrated, the zombie scolds the child. Suddenly, the boy's aunt, who turns out to be Sonia, appears from behind. Startled, the zombie hastily flees the scene. Sonia grabs a nearby helmet and throws it, hitting him on the head from a distance. As a result, the poor zombie loses consciousness. Sonia rushes to him and checks his heartbeat, but it's not there. Does that mean he's dead? With this thought in mind, Sonia calls for an ambulance. After a few minutes, he awakens in the ambulance, startling everyone. Sonia quickly takes him to the hospital, but he cleverly manages to escape from there. He felt really hungry. At first he thought about eating a person, but then he realized it wasn't right. Then he noticed a dog nearby, and he thought about eating it instead. But then he felt sorry for the dog too. Who else was this hungry zombie going to eat? Just then he heard an announcement about free soup being served somewhere nearby. When he arrived, he discovered that the free soup had already run out. In order to get some soup from the hotel, he had to join the group of zombie-like people dancing for the hotel's promotion. He danced surprisingly well, earning his soup. However, instead of enjoying the soup, he bypassed it and headed straight to the kitchen, where he began devouring raw meat. Witnessing the chaos, the chef shouted in alarm. Meanwhile, Sonia and her other detective friend were also at the hotel. They were coming to kill the zombie, intending to eliminate the zombie. However, the zombie overpowered them, leaving Sonia's friend badly beaten. Fleeing the scene, the zombie dashed into the forest, seeking refuge from the turmoil. As the intense emotions subsided, the zombie gradually began to revert back to a more human state. So he decides to return to Detective Kim's office. There he notices news about the death of a child on the screen. Seeing this, he becomes overwhelmed with anger and starts hitting the screen. However, after calming down, he sits quietly in the office. Suddenly, the owner of Detective Kim's house arrives. She had come to ask for rent. Now, since the zombie was living there, he had to pay the rent to the landlord. This made him realize he needed money. As he pondered on how to make money, he recalled a time when Sonia had visited his office. Sonia didn't want Detective Kim, who was now a zombie, to file a case against her for injuring him. She had brought an agreement to settle things, but the zombie ripped it up. Now he's searching for that same agreement, thinking he'll demand $100,000 to solve all his problems. Just as he was about to talk to Sonia about it, he sees someone trying to kidnap her. Just like a hero in movies, the zombie leaps in front of the kidnapper's car, rescues Sonia, and brings her back to his office. Here he tells Sonia that she had hit him on the head with a helmet that day. Because of that, he has a serious head injury, and he's not able to do his detective work properly anymore. Now he needs $100,000 as compensation. Sonia makes a sad face and says, "I don't have any money, but if you want, I can be your assistant and help you with all your work, even without any pay." After hearing that, he instructs Sonia to stand up and leave. Just as he is about to escort Sonia out of the house, an old client of Detective Kim arrives. She is a famous actress who wants Detective Kim, now a zombie, to find her missing daughter. And she also willing to pay a lot of money for his assistance. Before the zombie can respond, Sonia intervenes and agrees on their behalf, saying, "Okay, we'll take on this task for you." Sonia starts asking the actress some crucial questions, like where she last saw her daughter, and what her daughter's interests were at the time. This way they can narrow down their search. Sonia, being a crime reporter, has some experience in these matters. The zombie, sitting next to her, realizes that if he wants to earn money through detective work, he'll need Sonia's help. Finally, he agrees to make Sonia his assistant. Sonia initiates the investigation and develops suspicions about a meditation center. During the day, everything seems normal there. However, at night, it's revealed that a cult group operates within the center. Their goal is to indoctrinate the children of the center into their cult by administering chemical substances to them. Moreover, they exploit the children by making them work for the cult's activities. To put an end to all this, Sonia disguises herself by hiding in a drum and sneaks into the center at night. Inside, she not only finds the missing girl, the daughter of the actress, but also uncovers the activities of the cult. As Sonia tries to leave the center with the girl, she encounters the cult leader, who realizes that Sonia has discovered their secrets. The cult leader orders his men to capture and kill Sonia. However, just in time, the zombie intervenes, using cards like knives to eliminate the threat and save Sonia. As the situation escalates, the cult leader prepares to strike Sonia with his sharp stick. However, at the crucial moment, the zombie intervenes, placing himself between Sonia and the attacker. The sharp stick pierces the zombie's stomach, but he remains unfazed by the pain. Fueled by anger, the zombie grabs the cult leader by the neck, ready to retaliate and end the threat once and for all. However, Sonia shouts and intervenes, preventing the zombie from harming the cult leader further. Shortly afterward, the police arrive and apprehend the cult leader, bringing an end to their nefarious activities. With their mission accomplished, Sonia and the zombie share a moment of relief. Later, when Sonia visits the zombie's house to congratulate him, she is startled to see him without clothes, revealing the large holes in his body. As the events unfold, Sonia finds herself grappling with disbelief. How could this happen? Is it possible that Detective Kim actually is a zombie? Quickly, she opens her laptop and begins searching for information about zombies. Meanwhile, her brother informs her that zombies indeed exist in the world. In a sudden realization, Sonia recalls an old memory, realizing why she couldn't hear Detective Kim's heartbeat when she struck him with the helmet that day. And she also remembers how the zombie endured the cult leader's attack without flinching and without causing harm. Putting the pieces together, Sonia begins to understand why Detective Kim, the zombie, displayed such unusual behavior, leading her to understand the truth about Detective Kim's condition. He didn't hurt because he was a zombie, Sonia explains to her brother. However, her brother remains skeptical, refusing to believe her assertion. Undeterred, Sonia visits the zombie's house, taking precautions to protect herself. Upon arrival, she confronts the zombie, demanding payment for her services. She asserts, "I completed the tasks you assigned me. Now it's time for you to compensate me properly. Give me my money and I'll leave." As the zombie reached for the money, Sonia was suddenly overcome by severe stomach pain and collapsed. Fearing the worst, Sonia thought the zombie might attack her. However, to her surprise, the zombie rushed her to the hospital instead. When Sonia regained consciousness, relieved to find herself alive, she realized that the zombie was actually a good one who didn't harm humans. Grateful for his unexpected kindness, Sonia decided to assist the zombie in return. Curious about the zombie's past, Sonia starts asking him questions. She inquires about the first time he regained consciousness as a zombie and what possessions he had. The zombie presents Sonia with a lighter, which he used in the first scene of the story to light a cigarette. Additionally, Sonia receives a watch from the zombie. Determined to uncover the truth, Sonia shares these items on social media, urging anyone with information about them to reach out to her. Afterward, she receives a call from a man claiming to have information about the lighter. After receiving the call regarding the lighter, Sonia arranges to meet the informant at a designated location. However, the informant fails to show up, leaving Sonia waiting for a long time. Sonia recognizes Sean from her past. As they converse, Sean reveals shocking information. He was an eyewitness to the murder of the girl whose news the zombie had seen earlier. Before the man could share his information, he receives a call informing him that his mother is missing. The responsibility of finding her falls upon the zombie and Sonia. Together, they embark on a challenging journey to locate the elderly woman. After thorough searching, they discover the woman stranded in the nearby mountains. However, before Sonia can rescue her and bring her back, they encounter a formidable wild pig blocking their path. As the wild pig was about to attack Sonia, the zombie once again rushes to her rescue. After saving Sonia, the zombie faces off against the formidable pig. Unaware of the pig's strength, the zombie finds himself overwhelmed as the pig strikes him repeatedly. Fueled by anger and determination, the zombie retreats to a cliff, deep in thought. Gathering his courage, he calls out to the pig, ready to confront it head-on. As the pig approached, the zombie positioned himself at the edge, causing the pig to tumble into the ravine. However, in the process, the pig grabbed onto the zombie, dragging him down as well. Sonia got worried, thinking the zombie might have died. But to her surprise, she saw the zombie using a stick cleverly to get back up, along with the pig. Eventually, they reached Sean with the old woman. Sean expressed gratitude for their help in finding his mother. Surprisingly, instead of hugging Sean, his mother embraced the zombie, mistaking him for her son, and broke into tears. Witnessing this emotional scene, the zombie had a realization. He might have a mother out there waiting for him too. Later on, the zombie talked to Sonia, telling her about visions he kept having of a dying girl holding a doll. Sonia wondered if there was a connection between the zombie and the girl, suspecting a link between them. However, the zombie clarifies that he sees a doll with the girl in his visions. Despite Sonia and her detective friend thoroughly investigating the girl's death, they never came across any evidence of a doll related to the case. Later that night, the zombie hints to Sonia with a picture depicting the dying girl holding the same doll that appears in his visions. Upon returning to his office, the detective finds everything in disarray, but oddly, nothing seems to be missing except for a lighter. It's the same lighter he had posted about on social media and shown to Sean. Realizing that Sean must have been there and taken the lighter, the detective begins to suspect that Sean may possibly know something about his past. He approaches Sean to inquire about his past, and to his astonishment, Sean accuses him of killing the girl. This revelation shocks him deeply, leading him to believe that he may have become a zombie as a consequence of his actions. Overwhelmed by guilt and despair, he decides to end his own life by attempting to use a drill machine to attack his head. However, the drill machine malfunctions and fails to work as intended. Instead, he ends up falling and receiving an electric shock, further complicating the situation. After the failed attempt to end his own life, he resolves to leave the city behind. Meanwhile, Sonia meets with the father of the dying girl. While at the girl's house, Sonia notices a picture of a zombie alongside the girl. Through conversation with the girl's father, she learns that the zombie was the little girl's bodyguard. Excited to share this newfound information with the zombie, Sonia rushes to his house, only to find it empty. She searches for the zombie in his office, but he is nowhere to be found. Instead, she finds some photos of the man named Sean on the table. Suspicious, she decides to investigate further by going to Sean's house. She sends a message to the zombie informing him of her plan. The zombie, realizing the potential danger Sonia might face at Sean's house, attempts to stop her by sending a message. However, he encounters an issue with his phone signal. Worried for Sonia's safety, the zombie rushes to Sean's house to protect her from any potential harm. On the other hand, it is revealed that Sean and his wife have kept Sonia captive. They confess to Sonia that they were responsible for the death of the little girl. Sean instructs his wife to kill Sonia and leaves the house. However, when Sean's wife approaches Sonia to carry out the deed, Sonia cleverly frees herself from the ropes that bind her. In a tense struggle, Sonia fights back against Sean's wife, using a nearby spray to defend herself and escape. As she flees, she encounters the zombie outside. In a rush, Sonia reveals the truth to the zombie. Sean and his wife are the ones responsible for the little girl's death, and the zombie was actually the girl's bodyguard. After Sonia escaped, Sean realized that his house was no longer safe. He attempted to flee with his wife, but they were surrounded by the police. His wife was arrested while still inside the house. Helpless, Sean had no choice but to abandon his wife and run away, but vows to seek revenge for what happened. Sean sends a message to the zombie, luring him to a deserted location with the promise of a gift in a car that will reveal his past. As the zombie opens the car door, it explodes. Sean believes the zombie is dead, unaware of his true nature as a zombie, which means he can never truly die. However, this incident triggers the zombie's memory, and he finally remembers his past. He recalls being the bodyguard of the little girl. On Christmas Day, when Sean kidnapped the girl, the zombie, who was a human at that time, attempted to rescue her from Cian. However, Sean managed to overpower him, rendering him unconscious, and then shot him in the stomach before dumping him into a trench. The zombie recalls everything, including the bullet still lodged in his stomach. Fueled by rage, he confronts Sean, demanding to know why he killed the girl. Even after getting beaten by the zombie, Sean still doesn't admit anything and shoots him. Sean thinks the zombie is finished for good this time, but much to his surprise, the zombie gets back up, standing strong in front of him. Even after firing multiple shots, when the zombie refuses to die, Sean aims for his head this time. If he had succeeded in shooting him in the head, the zombie would have perished. However, just as Sean is about to pull the trigger, his mother intervenes. She calls the zombie Miho, which triggers his memory, making him remember his true identity, that his real name is Miho. The person whom Sean was calling his mother until now was actually Miho's mother. In a fit of rage over his mother's death, Miho kills Sean. The following day, Miho's mother's funeral takes place. Later, Miho meets Sonia and informs her that there's no need for him to continue with detective work, as he is leaving the city. He had left all the money he had earned under the detective's name in his office. Without keeping any money or food with him, he wandered the streets, growing increasingly hungry. Eventually, hunger overtook him, pushing him into his zombie state. He was on the verge of attacking a man when he collapsed from hunger. Upon regaining consciousness, he found himself back in his detective office. There was a heap of chicken in front of him. Fear gripped him as he worried that he might have harmed someone. Then Sonia arrived and explained to him that his hunger had caused him to lose control, a part of his zombie nature that he needed to manage. She placed a chicken in front of him, secured him to a chair, and declared that he would stay there for 3 days to regain control over himself. "You're not going to eat that chicken," Sonia instructed firmly. She kept a watchful eye on Miho from outside the office. After about 30 to 32 hours, Miho entered his zombie state. Sonia observed from a distance that in this state, Miho seemed to gain immense strength. He managed to untie himself from the rope and devoured all the chicken voraciously, resembling an animal in his mannerisms. As Miho advances towards Sonia with the intent to eat her, Sonia swiftly moves back and forth, evading his grasp. Just before Miho reaches her, Sonia spots a frying pan nearby. Acting quickly, she grabs the pan and strikes Miho on the head, rendering him unconscious. When Miho regains consciousness, Sonia explains to him that he becomes extremely dangerous in his zombie state. She reveals that she has discovered the secret to controlling him and demonstrates by showing him the frying pan. Sonia advises Miho that staying in the office will be safer for him and for others. In light of these events, Miho resolves to reassume the identity of Detective Kim. He suggests to Sonia that they should investigate who killed Kim that day. Sonia reveals that she has already conducted research on the matter. According to her findings, Kim did not have any family. On the day of his death, he had visited his father's grave and was murdered by a man named Napin. Napin is currently incarcerated for illegal disposal of chemical substances in the mountains. It is revealed that the man, who had previously been incarcerated, has been released from jail. Upon learning that Detective Kim is still alive, he sets out to kill him again. However, upon discovering that Detective Kim is in fact Miho, he decides to target Miho instead. He instructs other detectives to keep an eye on the fake detectives, referring to Sonia and Miho. Meanwhile, these detectives begin their investigation into Kim's murder case by visiting the salon where Kim was last seen. As they delve deeper into the investigation, they uncover that Kim was researching a man named Dr. No, who conducts various experiments on animals at his hospital. Upon visiting the doctor's clinic, Miho recognizes Dr. No as the man who killed Kim. However, unbeknownst to Miho and Sonia, the detective following them alerts the doctor of their presence in the clinic. Following this, the doctor issues a challenge to the detective, tasking him with the job of kidnapping Miho. Following the doctor's challenge, the detective takes on the task of kidnapping him. Despite his efforts, including setting up electric traps and sending numerous people to Miho's house, he repeatedly fails to capture Miho. Frustrated by his unsuccessful attempts, the detective informs Dr. No that he cannot complete the job and returns the money. He also expresses his suspicion to Dr. No, remarking that Miho doesn't appear entirely human. The detective recounts his harrowing encounter with Miho, detailing how Miho attacked him like a wild animal. Even when he tore out Miho's heart, Miho didn't die. Despite his failure to capture Miho, the detective's efforts pleased the doctor, as he managed to obtain Miho's DNA. With this crucial information, the doctor discovers that Miho is a zombie. Emboldened by this revelation, the doctor visits Miho's office while wearing a mask. There, he renders Miho unconscious by administering a chemical. Once Miho is unconscious, the doctor transports him to his lab. He initiates a series of experiments, extracting blood from Miho's veins. Confused and concerned, Miho questions the doctor's motives, asking him why he is conducting such dangerous experiments. In response, the doctor reveals his heartbreaking story, explaining that he deeply loved someone who passed away. Unable to bear the loss, he devoted himself to countless experiments, until he developed a medicine capable of bringing his loved one back to life, albeit as a zombie rather than a normal human. He resumed his experiments in hopes of finding a way to revert his wife from a zombie back to a human. However, Detective Kim uncovered his experiments, and also discovered his association with the man responsible for disposing of his illegal chemical substances. Fearing exposure, the doctor felt compelled to eliminate Detective Kim. Unbeknownst to him, the location where he had disposed of the chemical substances also contained Miho's body. Due to the effects of these substances, Miho, who was previously deceased, also returned to life as a zombie, much like Dr. No's wife. In this scene, Sonia tracks Miho's location and arrives at Dr. No's clinic. However, she finds the clinic locked. Sonia notices the electricity meter is running, indicating someone's presence inside. Sonia decides to investigate further and enters Dr. No's clinic, where she locates the lab where Dr. No has kept his zombie wife alongside Miho. The detectives who were working for Dr. No to monitor Miho and Sonia had also discovered that Dr. No's wife had become a zombie. As a result, Dr. No captured them and tied them up. Sonia managed to free both detectives before attempting to release Miho from his restraints. However, while Sonia was occupied with untying Miho, Dr. No's zombie wife stood up, posing a threat to Sonia. Once again, Miho stepped in to protect her. Using the language of zombies, Miho attempted to communicate with Dr. No's wife. However, Dr. No interrupted, arriving with a gun. He commanded his wife to attack them all. In response, the zombie wife began to attack the other detectives. Meanwhile, Miho attempted to disarm Dr. No, resulting in a struggle that caused the gun to accidentally fire. The doctor's zombie wife is struck by a bullet and instantly killed. Witnessing this, the doctor is overwhelmed with grief and sits beside his deceased wife. Sensing an opportunity, Sonia contacts the police. They arrive promptly and apprehend the doctor. With his arrest, they believe they have resolved the murder case of Detective Kim. However, unbeknownst to them, a larger problem looms on the horizon. The police car transporting Dr. No met with an accident. Dr. No, having consumed his own concocted medicine, transformed into a zombie upon his demise. Aware of this, Miho and Sonia devised a trap to capture him. They retrieved his deceased wife from the morgue. However, Dr. No proved to be more cunning than expected. Instead of going after his wife, he went straight to Miho's house. Surprisingly, he didn't attack Miho but seized Sonia. Before seizing Sonia, a detective friend of hers arrives and points a gun at Dr. No. However, Dr. No remains unfazed, knowing that as a zombie, he's impervious to bullets. Dr. No cunningly disarmed the detective and was about to harm Sonia when she managed to wrestle the gun away from him, with assistance from Miho. Despite having the opportunity to end Dr. No's threat, he refrained from doing so out of mercy, proving Dr. No's assumption correct. Suddenly, two other detectives arrive. It is shown that the same two detectives who were supporting him come here with 4 masks. Everyone wears masks, and the scent of the chemical produced by Dr. No, which can render zombies unconscious, overwhelms him, causing him to fall unconscious. After removing their masks, one of the detectives approached Dr. No to verify whether he had truly lost consciousness or was merely pretending. However, Dr. No suddenly seized the detective, preparing to harm him. In a desperate attempt to save the detective, Miho fired his gun, fatally striking Dr. No in the head, ultimately killing him. Following this, Miho felt a sense of sorrow, as he had harbored hope that Dr. No's experiments could potentially restore his humanity. Disheartened by the shattered hope, Miho expresses to Sonia that he refuses to become an artificial human among humans. Despite Sonia's attempts to uplift him, Miho decides to distance himself and moves away. Meanwhile, Sonia carries on with her detective work. In the year following these events, Sonia receives an invitation to a Halloween party. Eager to attend, Sonia hopes to encounter Miho there. To her surprise, she spots Miho in a white suit seated at the center of the party, confirming her suspicions. As they draw closer, they discover that a murder has occurred at the party, a case that Miho and Sonia were meant to solve. This unexpected turn of events brings them together once again. And with this, the season comes to an end.